Hi everybody. Good morning. Good morning everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning everybody. Good morning. Happy Tuesday morning. Okay. I'm just boiling my water. I just want to make some tea for myself. I okay. Hey, Connie. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. How are you doing today, sis? Karine, I'm not really mixing anything today, but we're going to be talking about mixing things. We're going to be talking about mixing stuffs, yeah. But I'm not really going to be mixing anything today. But we're just going to share one or two ideas and some of the things I discovered, or some of the things I used to discover, I used to realize, or I used to take note, but I used to ignore. I used to just, give a blind eye to it. I am fine, thank you. I'm much, 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 much better. Thank you so much, sis. How are you? How are you doing? How is family? How is everybody doing? Okay. So I just want to I I just want to make my tea. We're gonna do that together. It's just simple. It's just my hibiscus tea. We're just going to do that together, and then I don't know if the lighting is okay. I think it's okay. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. We're going to talk about yeah, we can make cakes without sugar. We can. We can. But it's not going to be the same. The texture is not going to be the same. That's what we're going to talk about today. Yesterday I talked about okra. So what I said was on my live streams for these remaining days of the month, I'm just going to pick one thing from my kitchen, and then we have a conversation. So I'm just adding my hibiscus flour. Then I'm gonna go in with my rose peppers. Then I'm gonna add in some water. Welcome in, sis. Welcome in, my darling. Welcome in. Okay. So I'm just going to add in my hot water. Hot. Okay. We're going to drink that later. For now, I think I'm going to drink my okra water. Yesterday I had some extra okra water left, some okra water, so I'm just going to drink what is left. Not really what is left, but what I made. We're going to drink it. Then we're going to go ahead and talk about... Hi, Brother Robert. Brother Rob, how are you? Welcome in, bro. How are you doing? Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you guys. Happy New Year. I have not wished... I know I've met you guys on your channels, but I've not officially wished you Happy New Year. Brother Rob, how are you? How are you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I just want to drink my okra water. Then we're going to have a conversation on cakes and sugar. Yeah. Whoops. Yesterday we had a conversation on, oh my God, I've made a mess. 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 So yesterday we had a conversation on okra. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. I just made a mess, guys. Okay. So, right. So I'm just going to go anyway. My water. Why am I so clumsy today? Okay. I have some okra that went in there. Guys, today I'm so clumsy. Okay. Guys, it's so slimy. Slimy. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in, guys. Yesterday we looked at so many advantages of okra, how to cook okra the Cameroonian style. Yeah, why some people do not like okra and the rest. Yeah, but you know, we looked at the health benefits of okra, but today we're going to be talking about something else. So I'm just continuing from where I stopped. I'll just add, I'm transferring my okra back into the bottle. I'm going to show you guys. So here I'm just putting back my okra in the bottle. Then I'm going to add some water to it and refrigerate it again so I can drink it tomorrow. That is the beauty about this. So you can always reuse and reuse. So I'm going to drink this tomorrow. I'm still going to have this tomorrow. It's still going to be very slimy. So I'm going to keep this in the refrigerator while we chit chat, while we have a chat. Hey, Wamuyu! Wamuyu, you're welcome in. Thanks for joining, Wamuyu. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I'm just going to add a little bit of warm water in there because I don't really like very cold. I don't like drinking very cold water. Then we're going to go ahead and enjoy. Mamuyu, how are you? Welcome in. How has the new year been? How is everything? I saw you cleaning snow from your car the other day. Was it your car? You said something like it's not you're not the one driving, but I saw you cleaning snow. So let me go ahead and just drink my okra water. Then we're going to start with what we have to discuss today. All right. So we are done. I'm in the bushes supporting right now. Sis, thank you so much, bro. Thank you. Stay safe in the bush. All right, stay safe in the bush. I made a mess here. Stay safe in the bush, brother Rob. Okay. Yes, all is well. Thank you. I hope with you too. I hope all is well with you as well. You and family. I hope everything is okay. All right. Thank you so much for asking. Okay, so we're going to sip our tea while we talk. All right, guys. So today we're going to be having a conversation around cakes and sugar. we've been doing a lot of baking, we've been using a lot of sugar, and sometimes we tend to reduce the quantity of sugar, the amount of sugar we add to our cakes because of one reason or the other, because we want to cut down on sugar, because we do not want sugar, because we have an underlying illness that we want to reduce sugar, but we still want to eat cakes and all of those things. So we have to talk about this today. Hi, Big Banana. How are you doing, my brother? Happy New Year. You are not late. We are just starting. We are just 10 minutes into the live stream, so you're not late. You're not late. We just had our okra water. That's all what we had. We just had okra water. And we are just starting our conversation. We want to talk about cakes and sugar. Do you love sugar? Do you love sugary cakes? Should you eat sugary cakes or not? Thank you so much. I miss you guys too. Thank you so much. I'm back and back and back and back and back and back and back. I was away for 1 month. Yeah, I was away for 1 month, but I am back. All right. So now, when you look at the title of today's live stream, it says, "Don't eat cakes if you don't want sugar." All right. Don't eat cakes if you don't want sugar. Because what are cakes? Cakes is not it's not medicine. Cake is not something that you're gonna eat because you want to work on your diet. If you're working on your diet, you do not need cakes. You do not need cakes. Cakes are treats. Cakes are those things that you when you want to please your palate, or you want to please somebody, you want to treat someone, you want to treat yourself, you go for cakes because they're sweet, they make you feel happy, comfortable, satisfied, and all those things. But again, sometimes we want to treat ourselves, but we do not want to. Nowadays, I am trying to reduce sugar levels in my drinks. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And that's what we're here to talk about today. That's what we are here to talk about. There's sugar here, but I'm not here to drink sugar. I'm just here to talk about the sugar. Yeah, I'm talking about sugar. This is white sugar. This is granulated sugar. All right. So, during the festive season, I did a lot of baking. I've been doing a lot of baking, and during these bakings, I always see one or two changes, especially when I change or when I adjust the quantity of sugar. Because sometimes you bake, but somebody's going to tell you, I don't want the cake to be too sweet. Or sometimes I bake and I personally do not want the cake to be too sweet. Then I adjust the amount of sugar. But whenever I adjust the amount of sugar, I always see one or two changes in my cake. Because sugar in cakes is not only for sweetness. Yeah, it is true that when you add cake to sugar to cakes, it adds sweetness to your cakes, but that's not the only function of sugar in cakes. Why do I say so? You can try, you can make your own, you can do your own experiment, you can do your own experiments. Whenever I bake cakes and I adjust the quantity of sugar, there is always a difference in the texture, either the texture, the color, or the taste as well. Yeah, sometimes it feels denser, sometimes it doesn't really get brown the way you want it to. That's because you adjusted the quantity of sugar. But why do we always adjust sugar? Because we want to reduce our intake of sugar. We want to reduce our intake of sugar. We want to eat enough cakes, but we do not want to eat enough sugar. We don't want to eat too much sugar because we're cutting down on our sugar intake. We're cutting down on our sugar intake, but we still want to give ourselves a treat. We still want to give ourselves a treat. Now, what should you do if you want to reduce your sugar intake, but you still want to eat a delicious cake? You want to eat that proper cake. You tasted some yogurt cake and it was so delicious, but when you made that cake and reduced the amount of sugar, it wasn't the same as what you ate at A's house or what you bought from a certain supermarket or a certain bakery. Now, I will advise you to either reduce the amount of cake, the size, the portion you're eating, or don't eat cakes at all.
I do bake cakes, but sometimes I'll just eat a small piece, especially when I'm doing it on camera. I'll just cut a slice and, show you guys how it looks. Then I have one or two bites and I'm done. I don't eat too much of it. I don't eat too much of it. Because the fun is, if you bake a whole cake and you reduce the quantity or the amount of sugar you added to that cake, but you end up eating the whole cake, you've still eaten a cup of sugar. Let's say, for instance, a recipe carries 2 cups of sugar. Then you made that same cake and reduced the quantity of sugar to 1 cup, and you ate the whole cake. You've definitely eaten 1 cup of sugar, yeah. But if you have to use the same recipe for your cake and you eat just a slice of cake, you've given yourself a delicious slice of cake and you've had a minimum amount of sugar. I don't know if I'm making sense. Please like the live, guys. Thank you so much for the reminder. Thank you so much for the reminder. So what I'm trying to say is, it is either um you eat the right portion, just cut a small slice of cake, or you do not eat cake at all. That is if you're working on your sugar intake. That is if you're diabetic, for example, and you do not want to adjust your sugar intake, or you just want to reduce your sugar intake. It is either you reduce the portion of your cakes or you do not eat cakes at all. Because cakes are not part of your medication. Cakes are just a treat. And you cannot be eating cake on a daily. You can't eat cakes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, from the 1st of January to the 31st of December. You need to work on that. You need to work on that. I remember somebody said when she comes to my channel, sometimes she was joking and she said, when she comes to my channel, she just has diabetes, seeing the cakes everywhere. Yeah. And she was like, how often do you eat cakes? I do the baking, I bake, but I don't eat as often as I bake. That is a fact. I can bake and I don't eat it at all. I can bake and I don't taste it at all. Yeah. So we need to know what we want. We really need to know what we want. Now, why am I saying this? Um, During the festive period, I baked um a cream cheese pound cake. Yeah. I used the normal recipe. The cake came out so well, so nice, delicious, and everything was okay. Now, my sister in law was around. The moment she tasted the cake, that was a cake I made to receive them when they were coming. It was one of the things I made to receive them. So when she ate the cake, her first reaction was, the cake is so delicious, but it is too sweet. She said it's too sweet. And trust me, that cake was very sweet because the amount of sugar is really too much. It's too much. But the cake was so delicious. And it's that kind of cake you just need a small slice with a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or something, an ice cream or something, a cream, anything. But you do not need to eat too much. And believe me, she ended up eating the whole of that cake, but no, for days. It took days, but every time she took a slice, she will always be like, this cake is so delicious, but it is too sweet. There was always that but coming after the cake is too nice. She will always mention, but it is too sweet. So I decided to make her a different recipe, and I cut the sugar content, or the quantity of the sugar in two. I split the amount of sugar in two. I took the same measurement, but the sugar was less by half. That was an experiment I made, and these are some of the things I always do, and I always see these differences. But the quantity of sugar I reduced was drastic. It was drastic. I cut it in two, like, the amount of sugar was 2 cups, and I took 1 cup. And when I made this cake, when I tasted it, it was delicious. It was awesome, but the texture was completely different. It was very dense. Um, I'll say it was, let me say, it was heavy. Yeah, it wasn't as fluffy as I wanted, but it was melting in the mouth. Of course, it was melting in the mouth, but I could feel this difference. I could feel the difference. I wasn't very happy with the result of the cake, but the taste was awesome. Believe me, the taste was awesome. The sugar level was okay. It was just okay. It wasn't sweet. It wasn't, the sugar wasn't overpowering, but that wasn't the result I wanted. But since I was making it for her because she said she didn't want too much sugar, she was cutting down on her sugar level, so I made this cake. Now, she had a slice. She didn't say anything. She said nothing. I later on came and asked her, did you enjoy the cake? She said, the cake is nice, but I prefer the first one. This is what she said. The cake is nice, it is delicious, but I prefer the first one. I said, but you say you don't like sugar, you don't want sugar, you're cutting down on your sugar. She said, yes, the sugar level is okay, but the texture is different. The feeling in the mouth is different. The color, even the color, you could see a difference in the color. The way the browning was different and all. It was really different. So then I told her it was the same cake I made. So for her, she thought it was a different cake. I said it's the same cake I made. The only difference was the sugar. I divided the sugar into 2 equal parts. And she said, you rather left the sugar. It was better with the sugar. It was better with the sugar. Because the texture was different. The appearance was different. Everything about it was different because even the sides of the cake felt a little bit crispy with the sugar. You know, it was a bit caramelized. The sides were a bit caramelized. I don't really know how I want to explain this, but when I reduced the sugar, it was completely different. It was completely different. Now, I went ahead and made a third experience or a second experience. That was a second experience because the first experience was without sugar. Sorry, I was looking at something. I got distracted. Okay. So what I was saying is I went in for a second experience. Now I made the same cake and I took 2/3 of the sugar. So instead of half, I took 2/3. So I divided the sugar in 3 and I took half. And I took 2/3. Now the texture was better. It got better. It got better compared to the first experiment. It got better, but it wasn't as perfect as the first cake or as the original recipe. It wasn't as perfect as that, but it was far better. It was much better. It was much better. The texture was, better. The color was better. Everything felt better. Just that it was too sweet. Yeah, it was sweet. And then I started reflecting. I was like, okay, it is either you eat the cake or you do not eat it at all. Or you substitute the sugar. We're going to come to that. Can we substitute sugar? Yes, we can. But again, it is not going to be the same. It is not going to be the same. So what I'm saying is, if you know that you have an underlying illness, but you really want to give yourself a treat once in a while, work on the portion of the cake you want to eat. If you're that person who is fond of eating 10 slices of cake or just eating a big cake, reduce it. Work on it. If you really want to enjoy cake, if you want to enjoy that cake, go ahead and, mellow down on the slices. Because baking is, I'll say, is science, is some kind of science, because it always goes with measurements. It always goes with measurements. The moment you start altering the measurements, the cake gives you definitely have a cake you have a cake that is not bad, but the result won't be as perfect as the original recipe always. It is either because sugar, for example, sugar, like I said, taking out sugar completely from a cake is not an option. It is not an option. It is not an option. Then you'll be baking something different. You won't be baking cakes. Yeah, you will not be baking cakes. You're going to be baking something different. But if you really want to bake cakes, you're going to bake cakes with sugar. Because sugar does not only add sweetness to your cakes, it works on the structure, the shape of your cake is affected by the sugar content. The sugar you add to your cake also matters. The structure of your cake matters because you add sugar. If you do not add sugar, it's going to be bizarre. It's going to be funny. The shape is going to be funny. It is going to be funny. You won't have that structure that you're looking for. Yeah, it is true. If you add baking powder or what these things are going to give it a shape, but sugar gives it the structure. It gives it that structure. It gives it that texture. It gives it that brown color. You can try. You can try. You will see that the lesser when you cut down on your sugar level, on the sugar content or the amount of sugar compared to the recipe, the way your cake browns is completely different. Yeah. The browning changes. Even when you're making puff puff. Yeah. Even when you're making puff puff. Even when you're making chin chins. When you play around with the sugar level, it affects the color of your puff puff. It affects the color of your chin chin. Yeah, that's a fact. And you can only know those differences when when you do it very often and you can see the differences. If you fry puff puff without sugar or without salt, there is a difference in the texture, in the flavor, in the moisture, and all of those things. So you always have to balance. Sugar and salt have a role to play. They kind of balance each other. If you put too much sugar in puff puff without adding salt, there's a difference. There is a difference. Yeah. You need to balance it. Yeah. Sugar also works as a preservative and it helps to preserve moisture. It's some kind of humectant, so it attracts moisture. So for your cake to be moist, for you to have a moist cake, you need to add sugar to your cake. Otherwise, your cake is going to be very dry, and I don't know if it's going to be bread, but it's not going to be cake. It helps to balance the flavor because it comes in, it's a combination. When you combine it with the butter, when you combine your sugar with butter, salt, eggs, milk, and whatever, it helps to balance that flavor. It gives you that beautiful flavor that you're looking for. Remember, sugar really has a beautiful aroma, especially if you caramelize your sugar, you will know how beautiful sugar smells. When you caramelize sugar, the aroma is so lovely, it's so sweet, it's so, I don't know, it's so delicious. But again, I will keep saying, if you do not want sugar, please do not eat cakes. Or cut down on your sugar level. Cut down on your sugar level. All right. Reduce the portion of the cakes. Make your cakes right, but reduce the portion, okay? Use the right quantity, the right amount of sugar, but reduce the portion of cakes you're eating. That is going to help you. Sugar is going to keep your cake soft. The moment you cut down on the sugar, you will find that your cake is hard, it is heavy, it is dense, and then you begin to worry yourself. You begin to ask yourself, but why is my cake like this? Why is my cake not delicious? Why is my cake not soft? Why is my cake not moist? Why is my cake feeling so heavy? Why do people not like my cakes when I bake cakes? Because you play around with the sugar a lot. You play around with the ingredients. When they say 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda or 1 teaspoon of baking powder, you go put 3, it is going to, it's going to affect your cakes, because baking is a science. Is a science. People have put 1 and 2 together to, to put. It's not like cooking. It's not like cooking. Let's say jollof rice, that they'll say add salt. You add salt to your taste. You add palm oil. Some people will add a cup of palm oil. Some people will add a teaspoon, just depending on your mood. But when it comes to cakes, you go by measurements, you go by cups, you go by milliliters, you go by grams, you go by those things, And sometimes when you alter them, they kind of affect your baking. I'm just saying this from my own experience. These are the things that I discovered when I was playing around with sugar. And I've been doing this. But if I'm baking for somebody, if somebody orders a cake and, and I want to serve that person, I'm going to do the right measurement. But when I want to play with it, or I want to do my 1 or 2 experiments, sometimes I do some experiments and, I cut down on the sugar level, because sometimes the cakes are really sweet and they hit me really hard. But remember, when you play with the measurements, when you adjust the quantity of sugar, you will not have the same results as the original recipe. All right, guys? Yeah, you will not have the same results. Okay. Can you remove sugar completely from your cakes? Yes, you can. But you will not be baking cakes. You'll be baking something else. You will be baking something else. Now, you would say, I am diabetic, for example. I am diabetic, and but I want to eat cakes. I want to take out the sugar. Must you eat cakes? Must you eat cakes? Don't eat cakes if you do not want sugar. It is as simple as ABC. You must not eat cakes. We should learn to sacrifice. We should learn to say no. We should learn not to eat everything. It is not everything that we have to eat. We must not eat everything. Sometimes we just need to let go. We must not have ice creams all the time. But once in a while, if you want to treat yourself, you can have a slice of cake. Yeah, you can have a slice of cake, but you should know how to adjust it. Now, if you're diabetic and you want to really, if you really want to avoid sugar, or you want to cut down on your sugar level, I would say, instead of eating a big slice of cake, you can go for a bite. Sometimes, yeah, you're really craving, and you really want to have that cake. You really, really want to have that cake. Come on. Sometimes you see somebody who has an underlying illness, and the amount of cake they're going to eat, you'll be wondering, you'll be asking yourself, is this guy okay? Or is this lady okay? Does she even know what she's doing to herself? Kanini says, no worries, big banana. Actually, I was about to ask, how long can last while fresh? Am I missing something? Please like the live stream. Banana welcome. Thank you, Kanini. Are you talking about cakes? Are you asking about the shelf life of cakes? I don't know. I think I'm a bit lost. I'm lost, Kanini. I don't know if you can hear me. Is your question referring to cakes? Okay. I'll assume that I'll assume that you're talking about cakes. Okay. Now, if you're leaving your cakes at room temperature, it can last you 2 to 3 days. If your cakes are at room temperature, if you're just keeping your cakes on your shelves in the kitchen, or just making sure that your room is at room temperature, not too hot, you know, your cake can last you 2 to 3 days. But now, if your cake has things like creams, if you frosted your cakes, I think 2 days is fine. Now, if you have a refrigerator, you can refrigerate your cake for about a week. It can last you about a week. Now, you can also freeze your cakes. Yeah, you can freeze your cakes. If you have a freezer, you can freeze your cakes and it will last you longer. It will really last you longer. Now, when you take off your cakes, you can just use a microwave or an air fryer or an oven. You can just light your oven, heat up your oven, and then reheat your cake, and it's gonna come back as fresh as new. That is if you freeze your cake. But if you're keeping your cake at room temperature, 2 to 3 days is fine. It's going to be alive. It's going to be okay. But if you take it into the refrigerator, it's going to last you about a week or so. It's going to be fresh and still alive. Now, if you have a freezer, that is going to last you longer. Remember, anything in the freezer, but just make sure you wrap your cake nicely. Really protect your cake so that it doesn't attract smells from other things. If you have other food items with strong smells in the refrigerator, it should not overpower, and then your cake starts smelling like that. Maybe, for example, you have smoked fish in your fridge. I don't know if you guys have smoked fish, but we have smoked fish, crayfish. These are very strong. They have very strong smell. So if you have them in your fridge or your freezer, just make sure that you really wrap your cakes. You wrap your cakes. I have some cakes in the freezer. Yeah, I do. I have some cakes in the freezer. I just sliced them, and if I need them, for example, I'll just take one, reheat it, and it is as fresh as it is new. It is new. So that is how you can preserve your cakes. That is how you can preserve your cakes. Okay, thanks for the question, Kanini. Thank you so much for asking. Thank you so much for asking. Yeah, thanks a lot for asking. Okay, so let's continue with our cake story. Now, let me say, for example, you are not a baker. You don't bake. You don't like to bake cakes, but you want to eat cakes. Now, you order your cake from somebody and you tell that person, please, I don't want too much sugar. You have tried this cake before. Let's say you tried banana cake before and you loved it. You tried it from this same person. You loved it. You enjoyed it. You loved everything about that cake. But now you want to place your order and you tell that person, please, can you cut down on the sugar level? When the person reduces the sugar, know that you will not have the same texture. The cake will be different. So don't go ahead and start, bearing grudge with this person and say, this person, or maybe you ask for a recipe, the person gives you the recipe, and then you go ahead and ask, can I reduce the sugar? Of course, I'll tell you, yes, you can reduce your sugar. If you don't want sugar, you can cut down on the sugar level. But when your cake doesn't come out right, do not blame me. Do not say I gave you a wrong recipe. No, I gave you the right recipe, but you played around with the sugar and it affected the texture of your cake. It affected the moisture of your cake. It affected so many things surrounding your cake. So it is not my fault. It is, because we adjusted the sugar we're using. All right. Okay. So now let's go to the next thing that we want to talk about. Can we substitute sugar? Yeah. Remember, when cake lasts for how many days while fresh? The moment you bake your cakes can last 2 to 3 days if you leave it at room temperature. Karini, I don't know if you can get me. I answered already, but let me say it again. If your cake is at room temperature, when it's fresh, like freshly baked, because now you can't buy cake from a baker, or you can't buy cake from a bakery, and then you're very, very sure that it was freshly made, except you really see it coming out of the oven. Yeah. Now, but if you bake, I can't say anything about, but if you bake your cake at home and your cake is fresh, as fresh, because you're talking of fresh, your cake will last 2 days or 3 days, 2 to 3 days. Kanini, I don't know if you can get me. I'm answering your question. You said answer me. I'm answering. I've answered, and I'm answering again. Now, if you're keeping your cake at room temperature on a table in the office, 2 to 3 days, 2 to 3 days. But if you have your cakes with creams, if you've added creams on your cakes, it can last you 2 days. Now, if you refrigerate your cake, if you put your cake in the fridge, it is going to last you 1 week. It can last you up to 1 week. Yeah, it can last you up to 1 week. All right, Kanini. And now if you freeze your cake, if you put your cake in the freezer, it is going to last you a long while. It lasts you weeks. It will last you quite a while. Now, how are you going to eat it when it's frozen? You can just take out your cake from the freezer. If you have a microwave, you can microwave your cake to defrost it, or you can use your oven and just like reheat your oven. And then now, I know somebody might ask me, if I do not have an oven, if I do not have an oven, you do not have an oven, how did you bake that cake? You baked it traditionally. There is a traditional way of baking cakes. If you do not have an oven, you can use a pot. So you're going to reheat it the same way. Just heat up that pot, heat up that pot the same way you did when you wanted to bake that cake. Then place your cake in that pot, and it's going to be as fresh as new. It is going to be as fresh as new. Let me read the comments. Banana fridge. Wait. It depends, Kanini, with ingredients and if you have a fridge. Banana, I'm having ugali and baked tea and some vegetables mixed with omena. What is omena? What is omena? All right. So, Kanini, I guess I've answered your question. All right. So there's another way of baking. You don't deprive yourself from baking that you do not have an oven. How can you bake traditionally? Back in the days when we didn't want to use the oven, we will use a pot. We used to have a pot. We have that pot. We're going to put sand. We're going to layer the pot with sand. Then place the cake. Place the cake pan on the sand. Cover the pot. And then we're going to put charcoal on top of the pot, because the charcoal is going to help that the browning is going to help. So it's kind of like your pot, your traditional oven is hot all around, from the bottom and the top. Yeah, so we always put charcoal on top, and then it bakes normally. I have seen people use rice cookers to bake cakes. I have never tried that because, one, I'm not a very big fan of rice cookers. Even my rice, I barely cook rice on rice cookers. I don't know. I'm not a very big fan of that. But I've seen people use rice cookers to bake cakes. Now, if you do not have sand, I've seen people use salt. You can use salt. I have never used salt because that's a huge waste. Yeah, that to me is a big waste. You can use gari. I have never used gari as well because that is wastage. Because your gari is going to burn and you might not be able to use it again. So I have used sand. I've used sand, and I'll recommend sand because you can always reuse that sand. You can reuse sand at any time. You just need to make sure that your sand is clean. You can I don't know where you can get sand. You can get sand and rinse your sand, wash your sand, and then keep that sand, for your baking. That is what we used to do. We used to, because there was a time we used to bake a lot, and my mom used to, was very economical when it comes to gas. So sometimes we will bake, we will do our bakings traditionally. We will do it like on a daily, we'll do it traditionally. So you can always um, China, I appreciate you, China. The hand is suffering at China's content. Kanini, leave me alone. So I was saying that oh my God, what do we have here? Sammy's kitchen. Oh my goodness, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, sis. How are you doing? Thank you so much for coming. It's been a while. I hope you're okay. Yeah, I'm okay, sis. I am okay. I'm okay. I wasn't too okay, but I'm okay now. I'm back. I'm back, so I'm okay. How are you doing? Happy New Year, sis. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for stopping by. Happy New Year. So yeah, we are talking about cakes. We're talking about cakes. I came back yesterday. I started my first live stream yesterday, and I was just like, I don't really have content. I don't really have what to do. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pick something from my kitchen and we talk about. I'm just going to pick one thing from the kitchen and we talk about. So yesterday we talked about okra, all the beautiful things surrounding okra, and then today we are talking about cakes and sugar. We are looking at how sugar affects cakes and how it's also going to affect the body. So yeah, you're welcome in, sis, and I'll be glad to have anyone chip in anything. I'm just sharing my own experience and all of those things. Some of the things I discovered I was when I was adjusting certain things in cakes. I was doing my own little experiments. I adjusted the sugar and it affected my cake, how it affects the cake. So others can also share their little experience so we can all learn from this. So Happy New Year. Savis is wishing us a Happy New Year. Kanini is also wishing Savis a Happy New Year. Happy New Year from Wamuyu. Happy New Year from Big Banana. Happy New Year, everybody. Chana, my lunch break is done. Thanks again, dear. Thank you so much for coming. Enjoy your time at work. Enjoy your time at work and see you soon. You said you were having omena. I asked you what omena was, but you didn't reply. I don't know if you're still here, but however, I'm going to ask you on your live stream what omena is, because I know omena to be something else in a different language. Yeah. All right. Bye bye, guys. Omena is small fish. Oh, okay. All right. We call those small, very tiny, small fish. We call them janjamoto. We call them janjamoto. Thank you so much. Bye from Kanini. Kanini says bye, guys. All right. So, let me sip some tea. I'm having some hibiscus tea. Some hibiscus tea. Okay. So where were we? All right. So I was saying that I was talking about baking traditionally. Now you can use sand, and I said some people use salt, some people use gari. I have never used those. Because for me it is wastage. I can't waste that amount of gari to place in a pot because I want to bake. Now, if you do not have salt, if you do not have sand, and you do not have curry, what you can use is you can use the lid of a pot. If you have a pot and then you have a lid, don't go and use a glass lid, please. You have the lid of a pot, you can place that lid of a pot. If you have a flat lid, sometimes you have a lid, these old lids that do not have the handle, you can place that lid, you can layer up your pot with that lid. You can place that lid at the bottom of the pot and then place your cake pan on that. Now you can also use a lid that has a handle, but you make sure your cake pan has, that hole in the middle. If you have those cake pans or cake dishes that have holes in the middle, you can actually use a lid that has a handle. You just place your how do I show you? Yeah, let me show you. Let me see if I can get let me see, so so now if you have a lid, it should be bigger, if you have a lid that is like this and you have that the cake pan that has a hole, you can actually place your cake all right. So yeah, this is what I'm explaining. So now if you have you can, I'm talking about this round bowls like this cake dish, these cake pans that are round with a hole. So you can just place it like this and you're going to bake your cake. So you don't need to, you don't need to move mountains to bake your cakes. If you don't have an oven, you can still bake your cakes at home, guys. You don't need to overthink. Either you use the lid of a pot, you can place the lid of a pot like this and then place your cake. Then you're going to bake your cake. Believe me, you're going to bake your cake. Sometimes it might not be very, very brown because, let's say, for example, if you do not have charcoal, the color might not be very, very brown, but most often it gives you the best. It's always okay. As far as I know, I have always baked cakes. When I do my traditional baking, it comes out perfect. I've baked cakes traditionally for years. When I was a teenager, we used to do this a lot at home. We used to bake it. Oh my God, who do we have here? Mama Mina, welcome in, Mama Mina. How are you doing? Wamuyu says, Pauline later, small fish sardine. Okay. Hello, sis, from Sister Mina. Thank you so much for coming. Happy New Year, sis. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I hope the New Year has been good. It's been good. Yeah. Welcome in. How are you doing? How is family? How is everyone doing? Welcome in, everybody. Happy New Year to everyone. Happy New Year to everybody. So we are talking about cakes. We were talking about cakes and sugar. And I'm saying that it is either you bake using sugar or you don't bake. When you can actually bake without sugar, but that's definitely not a cake you're baking. You're baking something else. Thank you so much, Wamuyu. See you around. Oh my goodness! Rex Room is in the building. Oh my God. Happy New Year, Rex. Happy New Year, Sir Ninja. How are you? Welcome in. Thanks for coming. Thank you so much. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year, guys. So yeah, thank you all for joining. Thanks for making my day. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah. So let's go back to what we were talking about. So I was saying that you can always bake, you can do your baking even if you don't have an oven. You can always use the traditional method. So you don't need to move mountains because you want to bake a cake and you do not have an oven. You should not tell yourself you must have an oven before you bake a cake. No, you can always bake without having an oven. You can always do your traditional oven. Use a pot. Use sand. You can, get sand. I don't know, by the riverbanks. Get sand wherever you can. Of course, you can always get sand. Yeah, just get your sand. Make sure your sand is clean. Wash your sand, dry it up, and then layer your pot with that sand. Heat it up. Always make sure you heat. Remember, you always have to preheat your oven. It goes same with your pot. You have to preheat your pot. So just light your oven, your traditional oven. Let you run while I attend a meeting. Okay, sis. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Retron says, hello, Mrs. Woody. Okay. So, you're still going to do your baking and it's still going to be 100%. Your baking will come out right. All you need to do is make sure your oven is preheated. Make sure your pot is preheated if you're using the traditional method. And make sure you take the right measurements. Once you play around with the measurements, once you play around with your sugar, you play around with your bicarbonate of soda, you play around with your baking powder, you are going to have a different result. You play around with your eggs. When they say 2 eggs, you go ahead and put 5 eggs because you have a lot of eggs. Or your cake is going to taste let's say eggy. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever had eggs, you've ever eaten cakes and it tastes like eggs. You can really taste egg. And most often you'll feel like you're eating raw eggs or half-cooked eggs. But you can really feel that egg, there's a lot of egg in your cakes. That's when, you went ahead to put excess. They said 2 eggs, you went to put 4 eggs because you have too much eggs or because you feel that, I can just adjust this quantity. No. Before you play around with your measurements, make sure you're doing it right. Yeah, we were on sugar actually. We were not on eggs. We were on sugar. So let's maintain that. Now we were on the point of substituting sugar with other things when baking. Can we substitute sugar? Now, when you look at, sometimes you substitute sugar in your teas, you could substitute your sugar with honey. Can we use honey to bake cakes? Yes, we can. We can. But we are always going to adjust the quantity. You're always going to adjust the quantity because honey is actually sweeter than sugar. If you look at it critically, honey is sweeter than sugar. Honey is sweeter than sugar. So you're going to reduce the quantity of sugar. Now, if you're using about a cup of sugar, then you might want to use about 3/4 cup of sugar. The honey is going to add, it is sweet, so it's going to add color to your, remember, honey is always brown, is it? Honey has a color. Usually it is brown. I know we have white honey, but most often we use brown honey. So honey might affect the color of your cakes. It might change the color of your cakes. So if you're fine with that, you can replace your sugar with honey. It is of course going to add moisture to your cake because honey is a humectant. Even on your skin, if you want to feel moist, if you want to have a moisturized skin, apply honey to your skin. Add honey to your skincare routine and you're going to see the difference. It attracts moisture. So when you add honey to your cakes, it's going to be a little bit dark. It's going to be, the color is going to change because of the color of the, Your cake might be sticky. Remember, honey is very sticky. Honey is very sticky. Even when you use it on your skin for your face mask, or maybe you just want to, I don't know, add honey to your tea and then it goes on your finger, you can feel it. You can feel the stickiness. It's really, really sticky. But again, yes, you can add honey to your cakes. You can add honey to your cakes. But now, honey is a liquid. So when you add that liquid to your cake, you will definitely adjust the liquids in your cake. Maybe you're going to adjust the quantity of milk if you're using milk, or you're going to adjust the quantity of eggs, because if you're using eggs, you're going to adjust, you're going to adjust certain things. Otherwise, your cake might be watery. Your cake might be watery. So you see that sometimes it's better to just go with the original version rather than stressing yourself up. Yeah. Can we use maple syrup? Why not? Yes. It's gonna be beautiful. It's going to add flavor to your cakes because maple syrup really tastes nice. It has this beautiful aroma. But again, it is sweeter. It is sweet. It is quite sweet. So you also want to adjust it. It's going to add flavor. It's going to add moisture. But it is sweet. So you want to adjust the quantity. So you're going to, adjust it. Now, if you're using a cup of sugar, you want to use 3/4 cup of sugar, of maple syrup. And this might also affect the structure of your cakes. Now, remember, our sugar is there. It adds firmness, structure to your cake. Now, when you use maple syrup or honey, they are liquids, so they're going to affect the structure of your cake. Your cake might be softer. It might have a funny shape. It might not give you that same structure that your cake with sugar is going to give you. Yeah. Now, can you also use something like stevia? Yes, you can use it. Thank you so much, Red Room. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much for the beautiful hearts. Thank you so much for the beautiful shoes. Are those my New Year shoes? Are those my shoes for the New Year? I'm going to be putting them on. Thank you so much. All right, so can we use stevia? Yes, we can, but they are, it is extremely, extremely sweet. So, it is extremely sweet. When that comes to excess, it feels like it's even bitter. It feels like it's extremely sweet. But can we use it? Yes, we can use it in a very minimal amount. Red says cake without sugar. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. We're saying that you cannot make cakes without sugar. You must add sugar to your cakes to have cakes. Now, if you do not want to eat sugar, then just get rid of cakes. Don't eat cakes. That's what we're talking about. Because some people do not want to eat cakes. Some people want to eat cakes, but they don't want to eat sugar. And they expect to still get the same texture, the same moisture, the same structure. No, you won't have it. Once you start adjusting the quantity of sugar in your cakes, you won't get the same result. So either you make your cakes with sugar, with the right quantity of sugar, and reduce the portion of cake you're going to eat, or you just don't eat cakes at all. Because cakes are treats, those are things that make people happy. When people eat cakes, it doesn't even matter how old you are. The age doesn't matter. Be it a kid or an adult, when we eat cakes, we are so happy. It's just like ice creams. When we eat these things, we are happy because they're pleasing to the palate. They make us feel good. It is satisfying. It is satisfying. Now, when you do not want to eat sugar, it is either you just stay away from the cakes, or you eat, a reasonable amount, very small, minimal amount, especially if you have an underlying illness and you really do not want to have cakes. But now, if you must have cakes without sugar, then you should know that what you're baking is not cake. It is something else. But if you have to, replace the sweetness with things like honey, stevia, or maple syrup and all those things, your cake will be sweet, but the texture is going to be affected. The color might be affected depending on what you're using. It might be affected. The feeling, it might feel sticky. It might feel too soft. It might be too moist. It just depends on what you add to your cakes. And I was talking about stevia. I was saying that it is going to provide sweetness. but nothing else. It won't provide structure. The quantity is supposed to be very minimal. It won't provide moisture, you know. So you need to adjust so many things in your cakes when you're trying to adjust sugar, because sugar has a lot to play. It has a big role to play when it comes to cakes. It adds moisture, it adds structure, it adds the texture. It works on the texture of your cake. It adds the sweetness. All of those things comes as a result of sugar. Sugar is not just for sweetness. The color, the structure, the browning, how your cake browns, all comes as a result of sugar. Remember, when you caramelize your sugar, it turns brown. It turns brown. It is not white. You can also use coconut sugar. You can use coconut sugar to your cakes. That one is better. It is the closest. It is close. It is quite close. Yeah. But again, coconut sugar is not really sugar free. It is not sugar free. But it is, it is diabetes free. It is diabetes friendly. So if you are diabetic and you want to replace your sugar, you can try coconut sugar. But I'll always say, work on the portion you're eating. Really work on the portion you're eating, because it's needless to reduce the quantity of sugar in your cake. And then remember, we're using flour, and there's so many things that goes into your cakes. And if you want to eat cakes, you go ahead and eat 5 slices. Some people really do too much. They want to eat cakes, they're just going to eat like there was no tomorrow, like tomorrow wasn't existing, or tomorrow wasn't going to come. They just want to eat everything at a go. Now you need to work on that. You need to work on your would I say appetite? Yeah, you need to work on that. If you were eating 5 slices of cake, go ahead and eat one. Just eat one slice. And when we say one slice, we don't mean a big chunk. Yeah, some people will say one slice, but that one slice is going to give you 5 slices. Somebody will say one slice, but that slice is what, 5 slices. So we should know what, we should really know what we want in our cakes. Cakes are treats. Cakes are not medication. Cakes are, you cannot want to cut down on your diet and you go for cakes. No. You cannot be on a diet and part of your diet is cakes. That's why when people are on a diet, the day they want to eat cakes, they're going to call it a cheat day, because, that day is a day you decided to cheat yourself. You decided to cheat whatever you're doing, your diet that you're taking, you know. So, in a nutshell, eat a minimum portion, a reasonable portion. Eat it nicely, enjoy your cake, eat a beautiful cake, but eat a reasonable slice. Don't go for, for an extra large slice of cake, because, you want to satisfy your desire. Sometimes, yeah, we really want to eat cake. Sometimes we really crave for these things. No matter how hard we try, but we really want to. You go ahead and get yourself a cake, but eat that cake with caution. Eat that cake with caution. Don't go and eat a large size of cake. It boils down to the same thing. It's just like somebody drinking a bottle of fizzy drink. You put up I've seen people who want to drink fizzy drink and they say it's too sweet. Yeah, it is too sweet. So they pour half in here, then they add water and they drink. They pour the rest, they add water, they drink. They pour, they add water, they drink. At the end of the day, they have finished 1.5 liter of whatever soft drink they're drinking, but they were adjusting the sweetness with water. Now tell me, did you or did you not drink all of that? You did. It wasn't just too sweet in the mouth, but the whole content went into your stomach. All that sugar went into your system. All that sugar went into your system. It is not how much you dilute it, but it all went into your system. So it is the same thing. It is the same thing. We can say we're going to cut down, reduce the sugar in our cakes. You know, instead of 2 cups of sugar, you add 1 cup of sugar, but you finish the whole cake. And then somebody who used the right measurement, added the 2 cups of sugar, baked the cake, and just had a piece, you know, a small size of cake. Who is better? The one who used the right measurement, enjoyed him or herself, ate a delicious cake, but had the right portion, is better compared to you who ate, you ate a very hard and dense cake, and you ate the whole cake, meaning you ate a whole cup of sugar. You had a whole cup of sugar. So, guys, let's be guided. Let me drink some water. Let's be guided. Let's be guided. Yeah. So, as we were saying, sugar is going to add structure to your cake. Sugar is going to add sweetness to your cake. Sugar will add moisture to your cake. Sugar will add browning to your cake. Sugar would add value to your cake. The tenderness, the softness, the moisture in your cake comes as a result of you adding sugar to your cake. So when you substitute your cake with coconut sugar, your sugar with coconut sugar, you substitute it with honey, it's not going to give you that perfect result that you're looking for. Unfortunately, I don't have resources to waste. I would have baked the same cake with one substitute and used the right measurement. But I don't really have resources to waste, honestly. I don't really have resources to waste. And I'm not here to prove a point, but I'm just saying from my experience and having conversations with other people and doing more research, I realize that sugar is a necessity when it comes to baking. When it comes to baking cakes, you need sugar. The moment you adjust your cakes, the moment you adjust your sugar, it is going to affect your cake. It's going to affect the structure. It's going to affect the sweetness. It's going to affect the browning. It's going to affect the moisture. It's going to affect the color. It is going to affect so many things when it comes to your cake. The end result is not going to be perfect. Honestly, it won't be perfect. I did an experiment during the festive season, and it was very clear. It was very, very, very clear. I baked the same cake 3 times, 1 with the right recipe, 2 with half the amount of sugar, and the 3rd one with 2/3. And I had 3 different recipes, but unfortunately I was doing this on 3 different occasions. So I could, I didn't, I'll say I didn't record this. I would have shown you guys the difference, but unfortunately I didn't. I didn't know I was going to talk about this. It just happened that I actually did not really have a topic to talk about, so I picked sugar and cakes. Yeah, so that is why we have to have this conversation. But I am not here to prove a point, but you can always do your own research. You can always make your own experiment. If you have one of your recipes, one of your favorite recipes, we all have our favorite recipes, don't we? We have our favorite recipes. Now, if you have one of your favorite cake recipes, let's say you have banana cake, it is one of your favorite recipes, you've always had it perfect, it has always been perfect. When you make it, everybody is like, can we have more? Now, try it without, no, let me not say without sugar. Try playing around with the sugar content, the amount of sugar you add to your cake. If you were using 1 cup, break it, use maybe a 1/4 cup of sugar, or use half a cup of sugar. then you're going to see the difference. Or you use something else, replace your sugar with honey, and then you're going to see the difference. And then we can talk about, yeah, because those are some of the things. Those are some of the things. I know I've baked, but I did bake bread. I did not bake Lady J. Oh my god. Oh wow. Hi sis, how are you? Happy New Year. Happy New Year, sis. Thanks for coming. Thank you so much for coming. Happy New Year. How are you doing? How are you doing? Thank you so much for coming, Lady J. How are you? I'm so happy to have you here. I'm so happy to have you all here today. I'm so happy. Thank you so much. I'm happy to know that you're fine. I'm happy to know that you're good. Guys, I'm just going to have two, not up to 2 minutes loo break. I just want to empty my bladder. I've been drinking, so please let me just empty my bladder. I'll be back in a minute. Just a minute. I'll be very quick. I will be very quick. All right, I am back. Oh, thank you so much, sis. Thanks for keeping the chat busy. Thank you so much. Yeah, so since you came in when we were talking about cakes, I don't know if I should ask you, like, how do you like your cakes? Do you like them sweet? Do you like them too sweet, or do you like them less sweet? Do you like sugar in your cakes? Thank you, I'm back. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So how do you like your cakes? Because today we are talking about cakes and sugar. We're talking about cakes and sugar. We are looking at the disadvantages of not adding sugar to your cakes, and why some of us do not want to eat sugar in cakes, and why we should have cakes and sugar in cakes. Sorry. Yeah, our sister loves her cakes sweet. Yeah, she loves her cakes sweet, and on a normally our cakes are supposed to be sweet. There is no cake without sugar. Cakes should have sugar. We should put it that way. Cakes should have sugar. So if you look at the topic, it says, do not eat cakes if you don't want sugar. Do not eat cakes if you don't want sugar. Yeah. Do not. It's not like tea. You can say you can drink your tea without sugar. I'm having my tea without sugar. Though I have a cup of sugar here, or a bowl of sugar, but I'm having my tea without sugar. My tea is sugar free. But when it comes to cakes, these are treats, guys. These are treats. These are things that you eat once in a while. Usually cakes are made, sometimes you have birthday celebrations, you always have cakes. Weddings, you have cakes at weddings. Even traditional marriages, some traditional marriages do have cakes these days. Yeah, they do have cakes these days. So cakes are those things that make you feel happy, feels like you're celebrating. It's just like licking ice cream. When you want to give yourself a treat, or you want to give somebody a beautiful treat, you take that person out, you take that person to a bakery, you offer them cakes with ice cream. Sometimes your cakes even have ice cream toppings. You enjoy these cakes. But now you had this beautiful cake, you still want to have the same cake, but you want to bake the cake at home, and then you choose to cut down on the sugar, you choose to reduce the sugar. What I'm saying here is once you reduce the sugar, you're not going to have the same cake. The texture is going to change. The moisture is going to change. The structure is going to change. The quality in general is going to change. Your cake will be very dense. Your cake will be very heavy. And you start asking yourself, but why did my cake fail? Chana made a cake, it came out so well, but the recipe she gave didn't work out. No, it did, but you didn't measure your cakes right. You didn't measure your cakes right. And that comes to the same thing. I don't want to talk about that, but I'm just going to talk about measurements. When it comes to cake, sometimes we play around measurements and it really affects the cake. It really, really affects the cake. When I was saying that cakes, baking is a science, because when they say 1 cup of flour and you go ahead and add 1 cup of flour and 200 grams of flour, or 1 cup and 50 grams of flour, you've altered the recipe. Oh, who do we have here? Chef Z is in the building. Chef Z is in the building. Sis, welcome in, my darling. How are you? How are you doing? How are you doing? Chef Z, we are here. We are talking about sugar and baking. Chef Z is a baker. She's a chef, so she knows what I'm talking about. She should know what I'm talking about when it comes to baking. Yeah? When it comes to baking, when they say 1 cup of flour, it now depends on how you measure your flour. I can measure 1 cup of flour, you measure 1 cup of flour, C measures 1 cup of flour, and we're going to have 3 different measurements. I'm telling you, we're going to have 3 different results. Oh my God. MT Creative, thank you so much for coming. How are you doing? Oh my God, Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, MTC. Thank you so much for coming. Thanks a lot. Oh my God. This is your first time to come to my live stream. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm so, so grateful. I'm so, so grateful. Thank you. Happy New Year. Yes, you're in the building, flesh and life. You're in the building. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Chef Zaid says, wow, that's a great topic for today. Yes, that's a great topic for today's live stream. We're talking about sugar and baking. I was telling people, Chef Zaid, I was saying that if you do not want to eat sugar, please do not eat cakes. And I'm saying it over and over again. If you do not want to eat sugar, do not eat cakes. If you want to eat a proper cake, it is going to have sugar. If you want to have a proper cake as a treat, as a dessert, it is going to have sugar. Because sugar does not only add sweetness to cakes, sugar comes with a lot. Yes, it is my first time coming to your live stream. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Happy New Year to you too. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Thank you so much. So I was saying that there is no delicious cake without sugar. And of course, you can always replace sugar with other things. They're substitutes, but they will not do the same thing that sugar does. They might do 1 or 2, but they will not do the same thing and you will not have the same result. So let's say, for example, you want to bake your orange cake and the rest, and you choose to alter the quantity of salt, or you choose to, sugar, or you choose to substitute the sugar with honey. 1, the color is going to change. The color of your cake is going to change. The structure is going to change. The texture is going to change. The moisture is going to change, guys. Yes, it is going to change. Chef Z says, thumbs up. Okay, Brother MTC says, thumbs up the live stream, guys. Thank you so much, bro. Thanks for the reminder. Absolutely, sis, we are right. You are right. Because cake is sugar. Without sugar, no cakes. Yes, without sugar, there is no cake. Yeah, there is no cake. Now, if you want to have a delicious cake, and you're one of those people who is working on their sugar level, you don't want to have too much sugar, you're cutting down on your sugar intake, you're cutting down on this, you're watching your weight, you're watching your health and all, but you really want to give yourself a treat, go for the normal cake, go for the right cake, but reduce the portion. If you really want to enjoy your cake, reduce the portion. Reduce the portion of the cake. Eat right. Just be cautious. Eat right. But if you want to make cake and you really want to make your cake and you play around with the sugar measurement, you're going to have a different result. It is either your cake is going to be very heavy, very dense, or it is not going to be melting in the mouth, or the structure is going to be different. It's going to be very hard on the outside. Something is going to be wrong with your cake. Something is going to be wrong with your cake. So always respect the measurements, because baking is science. It comes with measurements. And when they say, let me show you guys something. I'm going to show you something about when they say a teaspoon. When the measurement says a teaspoon, yeah, guys, I'll just take an example. When the measurement says a teaspoon or a cup, this is not a teaspoon, guys. This is not a cup. Sometimes this is how we fill our cup of flour, and then when we bake our cakes, it is something else. It's as heavy as I'll say agege bread. For those who know what agege bread is. But if you want to measure your flour, you're just gonna do this, and then you need a leveled cup of flour, yeah, or your bicarbonate of soda, or your sugar. All these things, you have to measure them rightly. Sometimes we go wrong with the measurements because we just cook and then we use, and at the end of the day, our measurement is different. Then we start complaining. Chana, quick question: where are you from? I've always wanted to ask you why. I am a Cameroonian. I'm a Cameroonian. But I'm a Cameroonian. I'm from Cameroon. I'm from Cameroon. I've always mentioned it in my videos. I always talk about Cameroon in my videos. Most of my videos, I talk about Cameroon, especially when I cook my traditional dishes. I always talk about Cameroon. I'm from Cameroon. I am an African girl. ChanaZie says that's true. One mistake about measurements, then you will ruin the result. I think that's what you wanted to say. Yeah, thank you so much, MTC. Yeah, so I am from Cameroon, guys. I'm from Cameroon. Anybody who didn't know, I'm from Cameroon. Yeah. Okay. So when you make any mistakes with your measurements, it's going to affect your cake. And then you come complaining, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. So you're going to come complaining, saying, the measurement Chana gave, or the measurement Chef Z gave, her recipe, I tried the recipe, it didn't work. No, the recipe was right, but you just didn't take the right measurement. You didn't measure your flour, you didn't measure your sugar, you didn't measure your raising agents rightly, because they said 1 cup of flour. You went ahead and scooped your cup of flour. Now when you scoop, you kind of press the flour in the cup, and I don't know how I want to explain it, but believe me, the quantity of flour you're measuring at that point in time is more than a cup of flour. It's about 1.5, or 1 cup and maybe 50 grams. Believe me, you can try it. One day we're going to do that experiment. Yeah. Thank you so much for that, MTC. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Chef says she's a Cameroonian queen. Oh my God. So yeah. Thank you, Chef Zaid. So we need to, when they say 1 cup, it should be 1 cup. When they say 1 teaspoon, it should be a teaspoon. Yeah, it should be a teaspoon. And sometimes when they say cups, you just get any kind of cup and then do your measurement. I remember, oh guys, I remember when I was doing food and nutrition, the cup we used to measure for our yogurt cake measurement was the yogurt container, like the cup of yogurt. When you buy the cup of yogurt, you measure your flour with a cup of yogurt, the same cup. That's what we used. That is what we used. I can remember vividly. That is what we used. That is what they taught us. That was what our food and nutrition teacher taught us. So we use that cup, the same cup you use to measure your flour. You're going to use the same cup to measure your oil and your sugar and your yogurt. That's what we were using. And it was coming out perfect. It was perfect. So it doesn't mean that because we're doing that, you're just going to take these and then measure and it's going to work. I'm not very sure, but I'm going to try that experiment. Oh, I'm from Jamaica. Yeah, I know you're from Jamaica. I know. That I know. That I know. I know you're from Jamaica. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. So, yeah. So we're saying that measurements in cakes are very, very important. They're very important. Very, very important. Yeah. Because sometimes you're going to bake your cakes. They will turn out to be something else. They won't even be bread. They would be something else as hard as a rock or very soft. Maybe sometimes, you added too much eggs, or sometimes you went in with too much milk, a lot of liquid, or sometimes you went in with a lot of flour, and then it turns out to be something else, not even bread. There's nothing close to bread. And you start asking yourself, like, where did I go wrong? They said 3 cups of flour. I measured 3 cups of flour. No, you didn't. You didn't. That thing you did wasn't measurement. You did not measure your flour. You just did something else. You scooped something else. Yeah, you did something else. That was not. So, guys. But MTC says great baking tips. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, bro. So you did something else. Then you come here complaining. I tried the recipe, but it didn't work. Go back and try again. After watching this video, go back and try again. When the recipe says 2 cups of flour, measure 2 cups of flour. Meaning, now if it says 200 grams, if you do not have a scale, measure your flour. Go ahead and, do not scoop your flour. Do not scoop your flour. Like, for example, you have your flour in the bag. We always buy the flour in bags. You just go and scoop from inside. When you do that, you're actually getting excess flour. Yeah. You can use your hands and then grab flour and sprinkle in the cup. You're getting the right measurement. Then, once you're done, when you see that your flour is okay, you can use a knife and level it, You can level the thing. And you get the right measurement. But when you go ahead and do something else, you're going to get a different result, okay? You're going to get a different result. And as I was saying, back to a sugar. Oh, sis, thank you so much. Chef says, sis, I think you need to start a YouTube recipe class because you are so good on this. Thank you, sis. Thank you. Thank you. See, I'm blushing. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, guys. So, see, some of these things Some of these things, sometimes we play around with ingredients, with measurements, and then we realize our mistakes. We make mistakes, and we learn from these mistakes. I was saying that, yes, yeah, I never thought of that idea. Yeah, instead of, if you don't have a scale, instead of scooping, just go ahead and sprinkle. You can use your hands and sprinkle, use your hands and sprinkle, then you use a knife to flatten. You're going to get the right measurement. But when you scoop, sometimes you scoop and then it's too full. Sometimes it is just too full but we just put it, it's 1 cup. We are not cooking ugali, we are not cooking fufu, we are not cooking, I don't know. Yeah. So it's not like rice. If you want to cook jollof rice, you just use your eyes to measure your rice and use your eyes to measure your tomatoes and salt. Maybe you're cooking your jollof rice. Towards the end, the salt doesn't really balance. You can still balance that salt. But when it comes to cake, it's a bit delicate. It is a bit delicate. When they say 1 cup of sugar and 1 cup of salt, it's because these things are going to come together and, the mixture is going to be perfect. The flavor is going to be perfect. It is going to be perfect. Yeah. So sometimes we adjust recipes. I have adjusted recipes, and some of the recipes I adjusted and I had good results. Some I didn't. Some I didn't. Yeah. So we have to learn from these things. We learn, and then we learn from our mistakes. ChanaZie, during this festive season, I made cream cheese pound cake. I was narrating the story earlier on. We are never too old to learn. Knowledge is key. Yes, we learn every day. We learn on a daily. We learn on a daily. We learn daily. On a daily basis. We learn every day. Yeah. So I baked cream cheese pound cake, and this cake is very sweet. It is very sweet. And when I had the first bite, it was so sweet. I was actually baking this cake because Brother Rob, you're still here. Thank you. So I was baking this cake because I was baking it to receive my sister-in-law and my nieces and all. So when they came, my sister-in-law, after the first bite, she said, "This cake is so delicious, but it is too sweet." She said, "It's too sweet." And I knew it was too sweet, but the result was perfect. The cake was a must try, very sweet, but very delicious. She kept eating the cake and she kept complaining. Whenever she has a bite, she'll be like, "This cake is so delicious, but it is too sweet." The next day, she had another bite and she still said the same thing. "This cake is so delicious, but it's too sweet." Sometimes she would say, let me eat that cake, though it is too sweet, but it is very delicious. She kept saying this. Now, I decided to make her the same cake, but I adjusted the recipe. I adjusted the sugar. Guess what? The moment this cake came out of the oven, yes, it was really temptation. Yeah, it was temptation. The moment this cake came out of the oven, I didn't appreciate it. Like from the go, I didn't appreciate it. The texture was different. It felt very dense. It was very heavy. That moisture wasn't there. It was tasty, but something was missing. Something was missing. And I knew automatically, I just knew instantly it was because of the sugar. Because you know what I did? I divided the sugar quantity in two. I divided it in two. Since she said she doesn't want sugar, she's trying to cut down on her sugar intake and all. So I divided the sugar into two. Every other measurement was the same except the sugar. Now, when I tried the cake, it was tasty, it was nice, it was still melting in the mouth and everything. It was lovely, but the texture was different. It was different. But I stayed quiet. I allowed her to try it. So when she tried the cake, she didn't say anything. Funny enough, she ate the cake, but she didn't say a word. She didn't say anything. Then I came to her and I was like, "Did you like the cake? Did you enjoy the cake?" She said, "The cake is nice, but I prefer the first one." I said, "But you said you don't want sugar." She said, "Yeah, I don't want sugar, but I prefer the first one." Now she actually thought it was a different cake, but it wasn't. It was the same cake, but I just adjusted the sugar. And I told her it's because I adjusted the sugar. I divided the sugar in two. And that is why the cake it feels and looks different. It actually felt and looked different. Everything about it was different. Even the brownie, everything was different. Then she said, then I prefer the one with sugar. Then I prefer the one with sugar. I made a third one. I tried a different, I the same recipe, but I still adjusted the sugar. Now I took 2/3. Instead of half, I took 2/3. Now the texture was better. Everything was better. It was better. But it wasn't perfect, to be honest. It wasn't perfect. And I was like, girl, I was learning from my mistakes. And on other occasions, I've always tried to adjust the sugar. And I always see this difference. Sometimes you feel the cake is too heavy. It's so dense. But this one was it was so clear. It was so visible. It was so visible. Even my niece said, this cake is very different. She said, it's very different. It feels so heavy. And yeah, it was because I adjusted the sugar. So guys, when you adjust your sugar, be rest assured that your texture is going to be shaken. Your texture is going to change. It's not going to be the same as the original. So it is either you don't eat cakes at all, or you eat cakes with sugar. It is either you don't eat cakes at all, or you eat cakes with sugar. I know I always talk about sugar, cutting down on your sugar intake, dropping sugar when it comes to teas and all those things, not adding sugar to your smoothies. I know, and people will be asking, but she keeps talking about all those things and she bakes. Yes, I bake. But I don't eat all these cakes. I don't eat them alone. Sometimes I just have a slice and I'm good. And I have other people who eat the cake. Sometimes I bake these cakes, I give out as gifts. I have people who love cakes. There are people who love cakes. And they have some activities they do. They go out for physical exercises and all these things. They know how to manage their sugar intake and all of this. So these cakes I bake, I don't eat all of them. I don't. I can't eat 2 slices of cake at a go. It's going to be too much for me. It's not like I don't eat cakes at all. I eat cakes. I bake cakes, but I don't sit and, I don't sit and finish one cake. There are people who can finish a whole cake. Yeah, there are people who can go for a whole cake and, the thing will just run down like a river. They're going to finish that thing, slice after slice, slice after slice, and it's going to go down. I don't eat cakes like that. I don't eat cakes like that. So you can still bake your cakes. You can bake one cake and eat that cake for more than a week. Somebody was asking me earlier, Kanini was asking how long you can keep a cake when it's fresh. I said, when you keep your cakes at room temperature, it can last you 2 to 3 days, but you can refrigerate it. It will last you about a week. Now you can freeze your cake. You must not eat that cake. You must not finish the cake. When you bake your cake, you can go ahead and slice. You can slice those cakes, wrap them well, and preserve them. You can freeze these cakes and eat them when you want to. It is not because they said a cake will last you 2 to 3 days at room temperature. You want to finish that big cake within 3 days or within 2 days. Come on. Come on. And then you're going to bake another cake. No, you can slice these cakes. The day you feel like you want to give yourself a treat, go grab one, reheat it, and enjoy. And we're talking about reheating. I said you can use a microwave to reheat your cake. You can use your oven. You can just, heat up your oven a little bit, then place your cake in there, the frozen cake, and it's going to come back to life. It's going to be as fresh as new. Or if you do not have an oven, and somebody offered you a cake, you can still freeze it. Now, how do you reheat that? You can just heat up your pot. You can just heat up your pot. You can put a lid in the pot, or we have these aluminum plates that are like this. You can put it in your pot and then place your cake there. Your cake will be hot and it will be fresh as new. Black Forest is one of my favorite cakes. Oh, that's beautiful. That's lovely. So you must not eat all of these cakes. You must not. You must not finish the cake at a go. You can always preserve your cakes. You can always preserve your cakes. Either you keep it in the refrigerator or you freeze it. Don't just eat it, just finish everything as if there was no tomorrow. There is tomorrow. There is tomorrow. And there is, the day after tomorrow. There is next week. You can still eat it next week. Yes, you can still eat it next week. So, please. Eat with caution. Instead of saying you don't want to have cakes with sugar, remember, cake is with flour, and somewhere flour too is not very healthy. Too much of everything is not good. So once you eat, you eat a good portion, a reasonable portion, you're good. But remember to drink water and remember to go out, for a walk. Now, I was saying, yesterday I was talking about going out on a walk, and I said you can walk, they say you should walk, walk for 30 minutes, walk for 1 hour. If you cannot, do 15 minutes, do 10 minutes, do what you can. Do what you can. If you cannot go out, maybe because of the weather, maybe it's raining, maybe it's too hot, maybe it's too cold, you can walk in your house. Yeah, you can always walk in your house. Usually I eat my cakes plain or custard, but not with icing. Yeah, icing is too sweet. I don't like icing. I don't. So, you can walk in your house, guys. You can walk in your house, because sometimes we just blame the weather. It was too cold, it was too hot, it was freezing, it was too cold. Walk in your house. You can walk in your house. You can walk around. Instead of calling your son, your daughter, your niece, your nephew, your junior brother, your sister to pick that to give you a cup of water, to give you a glass of water, to give you that remote control, to do this or that, get up, darling, walk, go there, grab that glass of water, come back here and sit. It is going to help you. You're going to burn something. Yeah. Some of us will just sit, some of us will just sit. Chef Zed, can I have water, please? Chef Zed is going to bring the water. The next thing, MCJ, can I get ice cream? They bring ice cream, you eat. The next thing, Lady J, please, can I have a plate of food? You're just on the same spot. Come on. You're just on the same spot. Chana, please, can you come and clear the table for me? Can you help me iron my dresses? Everything is, everything is done by others. What are you doing? Just sitting on the same spot and enjoying eating? That's not enjoyment. That is not enjoyment. You're not enjoying. You're actually doing more harm than good to your body, to yourself, to your system. Yes. Go out there and walk, stretch, do some stretches on your bed, drink some water. And when you drink water, you're not going to ask anybody to take you to the loo. Yeah, you're going to walk to the washroom. So that's going to help you as well. It is going to help you. Yeah? Walk. Stop asking people to do things for you. Stop asking people to do everything for you. Can I have a cup of water? Can I have a cup of tea? Can you clear the table? Can you give me that spoon? Can you take oh God, Jesus Christ. How? Oh my God, how? No. You're not doing yourself any good. Believe me, you are not doing any good. Not at all. The moment you go out there and walk, even your body is going to be grateful. Your body is going to thank you. I always say this, and I know people will be like, how does your body thank you? How does your body say, how is your body happy with you? Of course, your body is happy with you. You can feel it. Sometimes when you sleep like a baby. I remember when my niece came around during the festive period, when she woke up in the morning, I asked her, how did you spend your night? How was your night? She said, good. Then she asked me, I said, I slept like a baby. She's just 3. She's 3. And she was like, you slept like a baby? I said, yes, I slept like a baby. And every morning she wants to hear me tell her I slept like a baby. Because she was the baby. But when I tell her I slept like the baby, and for her, she tells me she slept like she slept like Spider-Man. Can you imagine? She'll tell me she slept like Spider-Man. And I'll say, I slept like a baby. She speaks French, so she'll be like, Tantine, t'as dormi comme un bébé? I said, oui, j'ai dormi comme un bébé. Oh my goodness. Sister Simone is in the building. Sister Simone is in the building. Sister Simone, happy Tuesday. Yes, that's being lazy. That's being lazy. Some of us are just too lazy to a point that if our body had a mouth, if our body had a way of talking, our body would tell us, hey, lady, get up. Now, get up is too much. Some of us don't cook. We are so lazy. We can't cook. We can't even fry an egg. The next thing, and even if some of us cannot even walk to the restaurant, we want to eat. We don't want to cook. We don't even want to walk to the restaurant. We just make a call. Delivery. Jesus Christ. Delivery. And we're going to eat these large burgers and drink this extra large cup of fizzy drinks. And we're going to eat this extra large cup of fries. My God. And then we're going to add a large piece of cake. Then we start complaining. Guys, we need to do ourselves some good. We need to do ourselves some good. ChanaZie, can I get a slice of cake? You go get it from the fridge, please. You go get it from the fridge. Do yourself some good, MTC. Go get your cake from the fridge. Taimo. Hi, Taimo. Welcome in, my darling. Welcome in. How are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? Thanks for coming. Thank you so much for coming. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Taimo. The year is still new. I know today is the 20th of January, but the year is still new. Yeah. My darling Shavzet, how are you? From Sister Simone. And guys, we should make this habit. We should learn to tell some of our relatives no, like what I just said to MTC. Sometimes they're going to ask us to do these things. We're going to do them and we complain without telling them. Sometimes tell them, get up, go do this by yourself. It's not because I can't do it for you. It's not because I don't love you. It's not because I can't help you. But you're not doing yourself any good. Please get up, walk, go to the kitchen, grab you some coffee, grab some ice cream, walk, burn some up, burn it, burn that fat, burn it. Yes, we need to tell them sometimes. How are you? I'm fine, thank you. I'm from Pakistan. Yeah, oh, thank you so much. How is Pakistan today? How is Pakistan today? Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah. So, Sister Simone, we're talking about cakes and sugar. Oh, we talked a lot. We had a beautiful conversation. It was all about cakes and sugar. And as you can see, the topic says, don't eat cakes if you don't want sugar. I know some people might not be very happy to hear this. Like, how? How won't I eat cakes? How? Don't eat cakes if you don't want sugar. Because the base of a cake is surrounded around sugar. Yeah, the base is sugar. When you say cakes, you see sugar. When you see cake, you see sugar. When you see cakes, you see sugar. Just like when you see cake, you see flour. Cake, sugar. Cake, sugar. I can't say when you see cakes, you see butter, because not all cakes go with butter. But again, I'll say when you see cakes, you see fat, because it is either it takes oil or sugar or butter. But there is no cake without. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Reds. Thank you so much, Sir Ninja. Thank you so much for coming. Thanks a lot. You too, take care. Have a beautiful one. Have a beautiful one. Thank you so much. Thanks for my shoes. I'm going to put those shoes on. I'll put them on tonight. Yes, I'll put them on tonight. Those are my dancing shoes, guys. I had a very beautiful shoe from Brother Reds. Oh, God. Yeah, so we've been here for about 1 hour and 15 minutes. Yeah. So it won't be a very, very long live stream. It won't be very, very long. I might be rounding up in about 30 minutes max. But it was good. It was good. Sister Simone, we're just talking about cakes and sugar. You know, we're talking about the importance of sugar in cakes and why we should not eat sugar if we don't want to eat sugar, because you always find sugar in cakes. You will always find sugar in cakes. And you can always substitute your sugar, but you will not have the same results. That is a fact. You can always adjust your sugar if you want to, but know that you will not have the same results. You will not have the same result. Your cakes will turn out to be different. Your cakes will be different. Can you make cakes without sugar at all? You can. Yeah, for your personal consumption. And that is not going to be cake. It's going to be something else. Yeah, maybe bread. It is going to be something else. ChanaZie, okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, MTC. I'll see you around. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for having you. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful you popped in. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time. And once again, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Thank you so much. So yeah, thanks to everybody who came in. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to have you all. It's beautiful to feel loved, you know. But it's beautiful to feel loved. And I've been away for a month. Chef Zaid, can you imagine? I've been away for a month. Sanjay is here. Sanjay is in the building. Sanjay, how are you doing, my brother? How are you doing? This cup is too full, guys. Sanjay, how are you? Oh, it's 6:30 a.m. Oh, wow. Wow. How was your night? I hope you had a beautiful night. I hope you slept like a baby. I hope you slept like a baby. Oh my God, I miss my niece. She was like, "You slept like a baby?" I said, "Yes, I slept like a baby." And every morning she wants to hear me tell her I slept like a baby. And she'd tell me, "I slept like Spider-Man. I slept like Spider-Man." Well, that was why we missed you. Yeah, it's been a month. It's been a month. The last live I did was on the 18th. Excuse me. So the last live stream I did was on the 18th of December. Then my family came on the 19th. So I was with them, we were together, and they left on the 31st. Then I knew I was going to start because, you know, it was fun. We were together, it was fun. I just didn't think about YouTube that much. I think, but I was posting shorts and posting videos. Yeah, they left on the 31st. Then on the first, I burnt myself with tea. I had that accident, and guys, I was just like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. But I knew I was going to come. I knew I was going to start. Come back to YouTube. Um, during the first week of January. Yeah. Okay, I'm happy to know that you did. You did sleep like a baby. So I knew I was going to come back on YouTube streets during the first week of January, but the burn was so painful. It was so painful, and I just didn't see myself. I didn't want to come here and keep complaining of pain and the rest. So I just had to get myself sorted, relax, heal. Now I'm healed. I would say I'm healed. It's just, I'm just having some itchiness. It itches, and I know it's because it's getting dry, but now it's fine. It's cool, but just the scar. Ugh. The scar. And I have a very bad skin because scars don't easily go away. Yeah, I have a lot of. My skin is not that good when it comes to scars. Yeah, it's not that good. I remember when I was growing up, whenever I had the slightest wound, my mom would be so sad. She would be like, "You don't have a good skin. Your skin keeps scars. Why do you keep having wounds?" And I was very fragile. I was a very fragile baby. Yeah, I was a very fragile girl. So the slightest thing, I just fall. I just have a wound. And my mom would be like, "Scars don't go easily. Your scars don't go easily. Why do you keep having wounds?" Yeah. So guys, I don't know about you, but I will eat cakes the way it is supposed to be eaten, but I'll eat a reasonable portion. I don't know about you, but I'll advise you eat your cakes, eat them. Let them be delicious. Let eat them when they are nicely made, well made, delicious. Moist. If you're having spongy cake, let them be spongy. Just enjoy your cakes, but do not eat too much. Just have you a good slice of cake and enjoy. Wrap the rest and keep. Wrap the rest and freeze, refrigerate, freeze. You must not eat all that cake in a day, sweetheart. Yeah, I know it's your cake. Yeah, it's your cake, but don't eat all and start complaining. Yeah, eat a reasonable slice, a reasonable piece, and then keep the rest for tomorrow. There is tomorrow. There is a day after tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is next week. You can always eat your cake even in the next week, especially when you freeze your cake. Yeah, you're good. You're good. And believe me, when you reheat that cake, it is so fresh. The house smells like though you were from baking, like a bakery. Whenever you bake, the house smells so good. That combination of sugar, eggs, flour, vanilla, nutmeg, depending on whatever fragrance you use, the combination gives your house a beautiful smell. Anybody who passes around knows that they're baking. Yeah, some baking is happening around here. The same thing goes when you're reheating your cake, you have that same aroma around the kitchen. Yeah, it gives you that feeling like you're just from baking. If you have some ice cream, you can even put some ice cream on the cake, and it's going to be lovely. Eat it, then skip some days. Skip some days and eat more. But don't just go ahead and eat everything. Just eat, and eat, and then you start complaining. You're going to spike your sugar level for nothing. You don't need to do that to yourself. It is, again, I'll say, do not eat cakes if you do not want sugar. China, we had a hurricane on last year, November 28. It was a catastrophe. Yeah, I know we had. I know, and we are really sorry about that. We really prayed for. We really prayed for you guys. We had our community really went into prayers. We did a lot of prayers for you guys, a lot, because we have so many. We have so many friends from Jamaica, so many YouTubers from Jamaica, so many, and very kind-hearted people. So I would say we were all affected by this in one way or the other, because waking up and knowing that somebody you're friends with is not really happy, it's not okay somewhere, you're kind of affected. You're affected somehow. You're affected emotionally. You're affected spiritually. We're all affected. Yes, I remember Chef Zaid, I had about 3 live streams here. We were just singing and praying for Jamaica. You remember? We had that. I did about 3 live streams. It was all about, and at that time we also had some issues in Cameroon, so it was about Jamaica and Cameroon. We're just singing and praising God and thanking Him for answered prayers. We were just thanking Him for answered prayers, and yeah. So the the YouTube community, I'll say, was affected. We're all affected. We're thankful that people are getting back on their feet. People are really getting back on their feet. I saw one sister was harvesting cabbage the other day, and I was really happy. I was really happy. She had a good harvest. Then I saw there was one doing some planting as well. She was doing some planting. Things are getting back. So we are thankful. We are thankful. And yeah, we still keep you guys in prayers. Sister shows it says we pray for Jamaica and our loved ones. Our love goes to you guys. Yeah, our love goes to you guys. Yeah, our love really goes to you guys. Much love to you guys. It's actually affected all of us in the community emotionally. Yes, it did. It affected us all. Like I said, we might not know each other physically. We might not really get in contact physically. We might not see each other, but we are like a family already. We are family. We are friends. We are together. You know, Sometimes you don't see somebody 1, 2, 3 weeks and you start getting worried. If I don't see you for 2 days, it's okay. If I don't see you for a week, I remember, but I didn't see you for some time. Yeah, NTC. I came on one of your videos and I was like, "You've been missing. I've not seen your videos because I know you used to post a lot back in 2025." Then after some time, I wasn't seeing you again. I came to your videos and I was like, you've been missing. I hope to see your videos soon. So this is how it happens. We are family. We are together. Sometimes you don't see somebody for a week or two. A week is fine. People get busy. Life happens. Things happen. But when it goes to 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, you don't see a video. You don't see nothing. You start being worried. You start asking yourself, is everything okay? Is this person okay? Especially when it's somebody who is always on your channel, who always supports you. When that person disappears, you can feel it. You can feel it. And yeah, that's that's what the community is all about. It's family. It's family. It's a virtual family, but it's family. Yeah. So, and I was like, the day I was like, oh, he's back. I said, he's back. Oh my God, he's back. Yeah. So that is, but we keep praying for you guys and things will really get better. Things will get better. God is not done with you guys yet. He's not done. He's still doing things. He's still doing miracles, working miracles. He works in his own ways. He works in his own ways and we always remain grateful. We always remain grateful. Yeah. So, yeah, it was a beautiful one. I'm happy. I had so many people come here today. I'm so grateful. I had people come here today. People I've not had in a long while. Service kitchen, Rex room. Um, Chef said, "Are you connected to Rex?" He's also a very good guy. He's a very good guy. Can you imagine we never had lights or water for 6 weeks? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about that. I'm so sorry. But we thank God you guys are okay. We thank God you guys are okay. You guys are, we thank God. We thank God. We really thank God. Oh my world. 6 weeks. No light is fine. No water. It's oh my God. And Chef Zaid, MTC is also a very good cook. He cooks a lot. If you want to see, he cooks a lot. And he's so detailed. He is so detailed. He is so detailed. Yeah, yeah. So he, that's life, that's life. Things happen, but we thank God for life. We thank God we're still alive, we're still healthy, and we're strong. We're gonna pick up. Yeah, yeah. Because I was like, where has he been? Where has he been? And I said, I've missed your videos. And that's what the community is all about. Always we need to check on one another. Oh, and talking about this, I'm just thinking of one person. I've been telling myself I need to check up on her. God's Child TV. God's Child TV. I need to check up on her because, yeah, I'm a bit worried about her. She's not well. She's really struggling with her health, and I've not seen her on the streets for a while. But now, I don't know if she has come to the streets when I was away because I was away for a month, so I'm not very sure, but I need to check up on her. I really need to check up on her because she's not, you know. And guys, please, pray for her. God's Child TV. Please remember her in your prayers. Remember her in your prayers. She's a very, yeah. Yeah, he cooks a lot. He's a big cook. He cooks and he's very detailed. He is very detailed. Very, very detailed. He's very detailed. Yeah. So yeah. Uh, I'm happy to have you all here. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to have you all around, honestly. I am so happy. So the year didn't really start on a good note, but I know it's gonna be better. It's gonna be better. It's going to be better. It's going to be better. Yeah, it's going to be better. Oh, yeah. So we're going to be ending the live stream in about 10 minutes. Yeah, we're going to be ending the live stream in about 10 minutes because I have things to do. I have things to go. I have things to do, and I have to step out. So we're going to end the live stream in about 10 minutes. And yeah, it's going to be about 2 hours and something. Yeah, it's better now, sis. It's better. Thanks for asking. It is better, but it's healing. It has healed. I would say it has healed, but it's just itchy and it's itchy. It's itchy, and I want to say, I don't know if I should say, I did 3 days and 16 hours water fast. I don't know if that helped me. Busy in the back. Okay, sis. Okay, Sister Simone. I don't know if it helps. It really helps in drying up the burn. But the scar is, oh God, the scar is, ugh. When I look at the scar, I just want to cry. Chef said, I want to cry. I want to cry. And then it's itchy. It itches a lot. So I apply how to call it, aloe vera, because aloe vera is soothing, so it helps to soothe the itchiness, but it really itches. Yeah, it's itchy.
But the scar, oh God. You know, you know when you have this scar and it has dots, you know, woo. Mm. I hope it goes soon. Oh God. Thank you, sis. Thank you, Sister Simone. Thank you, Chef Zaid. Thank you guys for your kind words. Thanks a lot. Yeah, it really itches. It itches a lot. But I apply shea butter. I apply aloe vera, and it helps. It kind of suits the itchiness. Oh God. Chef, Sister Simone, how is the princess doing? How is the princess doing? How is the princess doing? Sister Simone, on when was that? On Sunday, yeah, Sunday. I replayed the whole live stream. It was so interesting. Your live stream with Goga. It was so interesting. I didn't even realize I was there for 4 hours plus. I didn't realize. Like time kept flying. I was telling myself, okay, I'm just gonna listen a little bit and then I'll go do something else. But I was there until this video ended. I was like, yo, yay! Oh my God, it was lovely. It was interesting. It was interesting. Then I quickly went to his channel. I went to his channel to check the 1 minute 35 seconds video, the first video. So when I went, I thought it was on the shorts. So I went to his short videos. I scrolled down straight and I didn't see the video. So I typed on the last video, on the first video, I was like, I am searching. Oh my God. So, yeah, the live stream was lovely. So I went to his short videos. I scrolled down, I checked, and I didn't see any video of 1 minute 35 seconds. So I clicked on one of his short videos and I dropped a comment. I said, I am searching for the first video. Then I left, I went to his long videos. I scrolled. But when I went down, the last video wasn't 1 minute 35 seconds. It was about 15 minutes. Then I started checking. That video was somewhere in between. It was like between 4 videos. And when I checked, it was 1 minute 35 seconds. I watched it and I dropped my comment. I found it! Oh God. I said, I found it. When I got to his live stream, that was the first thing he said. He said, I went around looking for receipts. Chana, you love receipts so much. You came to the live stream and rushed to go. Oh my God. But it was lovely. It was a lovely live stream. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was, it was packed. It was loaded. Oh God. And it's interesting how, he was the one doing all the talking. At one point, I think he thought he was the one interviewing, but it was interesting. Yeah. Oh God. I loved it. I watched everything. Like I didn't even realize time was flying, I didn't realize time was flying. Oh, it was like 4 hours. 4 hours. How was I here for 4 hours and more? How did I do this? Thank you, sis. It was interesting. I know it's always very hard for me to, to be on your live streams that late because sometimes I fall asleep. I don't even remember that you're supposed to have a live stream, but I always replay. Yeah, he spoke so well, no interruptions. It was so lovely. It was lovely. There. Why wasn't I there? You know, when I first saw it, you know, when I saw the live show, I was like, oh, Goga was there. Oh my God, I missed this. Then I started listening. So we all came back almost around the same time. Anyway, you came back. You officially came back 2 days before me. Anyway, that's why. Sis, when will you and ChanaZie come? Oh my God, Sister Simone, please. Fabulous is in the building. Fabulous, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, sis. Fabulous. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Fabulous. I was listening to one of your bedtime stories the other day and I kept laughing. I was just laughing. There was Mr. Okra and something. Oh my goodness. Why? Sister Simone, Chef Zaid is going to do it for both of us, you know? Chef Zaid will do it for the two of us. Yes. Sister Simone. Sister Simone, you heard when Goga was saying that he doesn't stand too many people, he cannot stand a big crowd and all this. Chef said, go to Goga or you guys should go and represent me. Please, go represent me. You know, when Goga invited me, I was like, eh. Then the moment we went to his place, I went there with Cook with Regina and MTC says, no doubt, it's a pleasure to be here chatting with ChanaZie for the first time. It's been great. Your vibe, that's out of this world. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, MTC. Pablo says, oh, Chef says, can't wait to try your non-banana bread. Oh, okay. Yes, it is hibiscus and rose. Hibiscus and rose. Hibiscus and rose tea. Sister Simone, I was saying that when we went to Goga, I went there with Cook with Regina, and he, you know, I was just praying. I kept saying, you know, I encourage Regina to go because I know she's also a very shy person. She's a very shy person, but at least she's better than me. She comes on camera. So I told Goga, she might not want to do it, but the husband is going to do it because the husband, you know, the husband speaks. So he's a good talker. And thank God they did it for me. So Chef said you can go for me as well, for both of us, yeah? You can go for both of us, for all of us. Yeah. Sister Simone, when Goga was saying he cannot stand crowds, he doesn't even know how he's able to talk to 50 people and more. I was just telling myself, that is me. That is just me, you know? I can hide behind this camera and talk, but facing people is something else. And even in real life, I don't really like big crowds. I don't like when the crowd is too much. It's not for me. It's not for me. Brother Rob is still here. Thank you so much, bro. Yes, Fabulous says it turns out delicious. I really loved it. Thank you for watching. I am so good. That is the color I love, so I know what makes the pink. Okay. Okay, sis. Hey Rob, have to come over and check out the boiling. Okay. Thank you so much. Chef says, sis, we need to master courage. You're trying. I'm telling you, you're trying. You go live, you talk, you know, me, I don't know. I need to work on it, honestly. I need to work on it. I am still owing Goga a visit, and this is Sister Simone.
Sister Simone, please. Uncle Robert is going to do it for me. He's going to start, and then Chef Zaid will do the next, and then we're going to see where to take it from there. Oh my goodness. When is Uncle Robert visiting? I can't miss that one. I need to be there. I need to be there. Even if I have to, I have to sleep all day to be awake. Yeah, I will be there. I want to be there. So I need to be aware. I need to be aware of his visit. And, I need to be there. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was a lovely live stream. I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed chit-chatting with you guys. I enjoyed everything. Everything. Thank you, guys. I said we're going to be ending the live stream in 10 minutes, and I think it's 10 minutes already. I'll just look for who to rate. I'll see if we can rate somebody, and yeah. And guys, yesterday I was saying that I might not be going live on Saturdays and Sundays, except occasionally, just occasionally, and excuse me. And Thursdays I will definitely not be going live because I don't want to stress myself too much. 10. I also said supporting people. I will not be spending too much time with my eyes on the screen. I will not be putting my eyes on the screen a lot because my eyes are getting tired. I think I've done too much already. So I'm beginning to have teary eyes. Sometimes I get very watery eyes, very teary eyes. And I feel that the screen is a problem. Yeah, because usually when I support people, I'm there on the screen trying to, connect with others, chit chat, reply to comments and all, drop comments. I will be there to support people, but I might not have all my concentrations on the screen. I might not, but I'll be listening. So if any comment comes up and my name is mentioned or anything that I might chip in something, I'm going to drop a comment. I'll be there to support. I'll be there listening, but I want to take my eyes away a little bit from the screen for some time because I feel that my eyes are being affected because I spend a lot of hours supporting people and it's affecting me. It's not like, we don't only look at the screen when we are on YouTube. We are on other things, work related, Facebook, and all of these things. So, Chana, you don't like cinema? I do. Yeah, I do. But yeah, I do. But it is something that I don't like to go alone. I don't like to go to the cinema alone. I've done that a couple of times, but it is not. I don't know how I want to put it. I enjoy it more when I have company. I enjoy it more if I'm with family or friends. I enjoy it more. When I go with friends, I'm alive. I'm so happy. I'm so excited. It's beautiful. It's fun. But I've tried to go to cinemas alone. I've done that about 3 times, and it wasn't the same. The feeling wasn't the same. But I do love going to cinemas. Yeah. Healthy is important. Yes, health is important. Honestly, health is important. So I'll be staying a lot away from the camera. I'll still support. I'll still be there for everybody. I will still be there for everybody, but I'll be listening. I'll be listening at the back. Hot lifestyle. Happy Tuesday, Sis Chana. Welcome in, my brother. How are you doing, bro? How are you doing? I do live stream. It's so much fun, but I normally would be cooking. Yeah, I usually cook. I usually cook a lot. I prefer cooking most often. I prefer cooking, but I don't know. These days, I don't feel like doing that. I prefer cooking as well. You're not carried away with so many things. You're focused on what you're doing, even if you don't have um any audience, you still go on, you're just doing what you're doing, and then you interact with those who are there. It's fun cooking. I mostly do cooking or baking, but these days I just want to have a talk, just chit chat. But it's really hard to chit chat, If you don't have a topic, it's quite difficult. It's very difficult. But I always prefer cooking. I prefer cooking. I love cooking. Yeah, during my live streams. I love cooking during my live streams. Yeah. It's the best. Actually, it's the best. It's the best. It is the best. Yeah. It is the best. Actually, I'll be cooking after this live stream, but what I want to cook, I want to shoot the video because it is something I don't have in my long video. That is why. It's something I don't. Oh my god! 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 Brother Robert! Oh my god, I just called your name few minutes ago. Oh my god. Oh my god, Brother Robert, welcome in. You're welcome. You're welcome in. You're welcome. You are welcome. Happy New Year. I'm so happy to have you. Though you're very, 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 very early for tomorrow's live stream, but you are most welcome. And I'm so happy to have you in. I am so, so happy to have you in. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. But Robert says, hello, 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 China and Chad, we are back in business now. Yeah, we are back. We are back. Hey, hot lifestyle from Fabulous. Hello, everyone. I'm driving to NYC. All right, bro. We're going to be ending the live in a bit. So thank you so much for coming. You're too early for tomorrow's live stream. But I'm so grateful you're here. I'm so happy everybody came in. I'm so happy you guys popped in to show me some love. It's been a while. It's been a month of staying away. It's been a month. I'm so grateful. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful. I can't thank you guys enough, but you know my heart. I'm so grateful. I'm happy. Yes, I am happy. ChanaZie. High five from Brother Robert. Yes. So I'm going to look for who to raid. Sanjay, thank you so much. Sanjay has been in the house. He's just hiding in the bush. So I'm going to look for who to raid, and we're going to raid somebody. We're going to raid somebody. We're going to raid somebody. But before we raid, I'm going to take a little break, guys. Just 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes, guys. Please. Just keep chatting with each other. Keep dropping those beautiful hearts and all. I'll be back in a minute. Then we're going to see how to rate. We're going to look forward to rate. Thank you, guys. Right, I am back. 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 Robert, how things flowing from MTC? I'm blessed and yourself. Yeah. All right, guys. So I'm back. Thank you, guys. Thank you all for being here. Let me see. Let me look for who to rate. We need to rate somebody. We need to go somewhere and show that person some love. I hope I'm going to find somebody. I hope. Chef said, I want to cook mbanga soup. I don't know how you guys call it in Ghana, but it is palm nut soup. Palm nut soup.
So I want to cook banga soup. We call it banga soup. I don't have I don't have a long video on that. I don't have a video on that at all. I don't have a video on that, so that is why I didn't cook on camera. I didn't cook on the live stream, so I want to shoot that video. Who is here? I have maybe I'm tired. Let's go to God's glory. Let's go to God's glory. Let's go to Jamaica. Let's go to God's glory. We're catching a flight to Jamaica, guys. We're going to God's glory. I hope she's still on. I hope she's still on. I hope. All right, guys. So we're going to God's glory. We're going to go to God's glory. Oh, Sister Marie. Yeah, palm nut soup. Palm nut soup. Sister Marie, how are you? Welcome in. Happy New Year again. I know yesterday I wished you Happy New Year at Brother Sequel's place, but Happy New Year again. Let me officially wish you a Happy New Year in my house, in my cabin. Happy New Year, my darling. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. We are Sister Marie, you're too early for tomorrow's live stream. You're extremely, extremely early for tomorrow's live stream. So we are going to go to God's glory. Let's go to Jamaica. Let's go and visit God's glory. So we are all going to type on ChanaZie. Let's go and show God's glory some love. Let's go there and show God's glory some love, some love, some love. Yeah, let's go there and show her some love. Yeah. So we're gonna type ChanaZie with some purple hearts attached to it. Yeah, this is what we're gonna go there and type. All right. So thank you, everybody. Sister Marie, thank you so much. Brother Hot, thank you. Chef Z, thank you so much. MTC, thank you so much. It's been great. It's been a lovely live stream with you around. Fabulous, thank you so much. Thanks for the heart. Thank you so much. Brother Robert, I have missed you. Brother Robert, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much. Sanjay, thank you. Sister Simone, thank you so much. Thank you to everybody. Brother Rob, thank you so much. So there's Brother Robert in the building, and there's Brother Rob Albacans. Yeah. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Brother Rob. Thank you, Sister Simone. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate you all. I'm so grateful. You know, I'm so grateful. Thank you, Kanini. Kanini was here. Big Banana was here. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. And of course, I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. Though, I don't know what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Yeah. Marie says, MTC, long time. I was telling him today, it has been a very long time. And I was so happy to see him back. When I saw his video, I was like, oh, he's back. I was so happy he was back. Yeah. And he said they were away, they didn't have water and light for 6 weeks after the hurricane and all. But we thank God they're back. We thank God we are back. We thank God for life. We thank God for health. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year to everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I don't know what we're going to talk about tomorrow, but I said this week, I just want to pick something from the kitchen and then talk about. Yesterday we talked about okra. Today we talked about sugar in cakes. I don't know what we're going to talk about tomorrow, but if I don't have anything to talk about tomorrow, maybe I don't know, but yeah. So yeah, that's what the remaining 10 days are going to be. Yeah. I know Maria had to take a break for a month. Then we had the hurricane of last year, November. Yeah, so he was away for quite a while. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much, everybody. I'm so happy to have you here. I'm so happy everybody's back. We're back alive and healthy. So thank you so much, everybody. So we're going to go to Evangelist Grants. We're going to go there. We're going to Jamaica. Let's go to Jamaica and show Jamaica some love. So I love you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so, so much. I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys soon. Now let's just, put on your seatbelts, hang on, have a piece of cake, have a slice of cake, have some tea, coffee, or water, and then let's catch this flight and go together. We need to go there together and show her some love. Yeah. Please don't jump off the plane. Please. Please, let's go there and show her some love. It's gonna be beautiful. Love is a beautiful thing. Love is a beautiful thing. Thank you, everybody. So let's go there. All right. Bye, everybody. I love you all. Mwah. Thank you. Ready to fly? Yes. Let's go. Let's catch this flight together. Thank you, Fabulous. Thank you so much, everybody. Okay.